Story begins with a group of 7 friends. They all arrive at an old mansion, which they had rented, to celebrate a friend's birthday. During the party, the drinks run out, but since it was a party, they wanted more drinks. They start wondering where they could get some, because the mansion is located far away from populated areas. However, they were determined to find drinks. They thought, this is such a big mansion, there must be some drinks here. So they begin searching on their own. While searching, they come near the basement, whose door was locked. The door was locked, so they should have left. They should have ignored the basement. But they were in the mood for adventure. Those friends broke the lock and went downstairs. In the basement, there was a pile of old things, making it seem like the house once belonged to a collector, someone who enjoys collecting items. Among the clutter, they found an old box containing tarot cards. Tarot cards are like ordinary playing cards, but when you choose one, it reveals something about you. It tells you about your goals, your desires for the future, and even what might happen to you. The cards also contain names of demons, devils, and witches. According to the cards, whatever the reading foretells is what will happen to you. These cards were very peculiar. They looked handmade. Haley, who could read tarot cards, was asked by everyone to tell their fortunes, essentially to reveal their fates, future events, and personalities. At first, Haley refused because it is forbidden to use someone else's tarot cards, but since it was her friend's birthday, she gave in despite feeling uneasy about it. She didn't want to disappoint her friends. Everyone went upstairs to start the tarot reading. They arranged 12 cards in a circle, with a 13th card placed in the center. This final card was considered the most special. The first turn belonged to Haley's friend, the birthday girl. Her card was the High Priestess. Haley interpreted it, saying, "You are someone who is curious about everything. What is happening? Why is it happening? You are trying to understand out of curiosity, but this curiosity can only lead you into trouble. You are climbing the ladder of success, but climb slowly, or else you might slip and fall, causing a deep shock. This warning is meant for the one whose card has come up, the High Priestess." After this, it was Haley's turn. Her card was the Hanged Man. Haley was told that she would face many problems related to technology, but not to worry, everything will be fine. Just don't get scared by the problems you see. Don't run away from them. Next, it was Paige's turn. Her card was the Magician. Haley told her that someone might pull her in 2 different directions and keep her stuck there, but Paige ignored this warning. Now their friend Paxton went to the bathroom and someone was seen on the balcony. However, when the lights were turned on, there was no one there. The next turn was Haley's male friend, but he refused to get his reading done because they had an argument. Instead, Paxton sat down, and his card was the Fool. Haley told him not to make any decisions in haste. He might feel trapped, as if he were stuck, but he must trust his loved ones. If one door closes, another will open, and he will come through for his friends. The next turn was Paige's friend, and her card was the Hermit. This person was about to break their principles, so they were warned that the Hermit's light could lead them down the wrong path. Regarding the new paths of love opening before them, they were advised to think carefully before proceeding. And you are going to get money from somewhere. Everyone's readings were done, and only Haley's friend was left, so he came forward. His card was the Devil. He was told, you are ruining your relationships. You face the demon. Either you will have to sacrifice someone or lose someone. If you don't want this to happen, you must face the demon. After everyone's readings were completed, Haley did hers. Her final card was Death. She was told, love will be the reason for your death, and if you don't die, a new beginning will take place. Haley didn't take it seriously, but deep down, she felt uneasy. The next morning, everyone came back. On their way, they stopped at a gas station, where Paige's friend scratched a card and won $7,000, which made him very happy. In a way, his tarot reading came true, that he would get money from somewhere. At night, everyone returned to their homes. Haley's friend, whose birthday it was, went back to the hostel. After coming out of the shower, she noticed a ladder coming down from the attic. Quietly, she pushed it back up and went to her room, remembering Haley's warning not to let curiosity get the better of her. However, after some time, there was a loud knock on her door. When she opened it, she saw the ladder had come down again. She began approaching it, but didn't notice someone standing behind her. She could sense something, though. As soon as she turned on the light, there was no one there. She thinks that these must be the girls from the hostel who were playing pranks on her. That's why she also starts climbing the ladder quickly. But when she reaches the attic, there are no hostel girls. Instead, it is The High Priestess. The same figure who appeared in her tarot card. She screams loudly, and upon seeing her, she falls down and faints. Then, the High Priestess picks up the ladder and strikes her with it. She does this repeatedly, attacking again and again, ultimately killing Haley's friend. As Haley had mentioned during the tarot reading, curiosity will trap you. Climb the ladder carefully, otherwise you will slip and experience a deep shock. That's exactly what happened, and Haley's friend lost her life. However, everyone assumes her death was an accident. When her friends hear the news of her death, they gather together. Everyone is deeply saddened and worried. But no one realizes that all this happened because of the tarot cards. Later that night, everyone leaves except for Haley, who stays with Paige because Paige is devastated by their friend's death. Haley shares, "When I was young, I learned tarot card reading. At that time, my mother was ill. Every time I did a reading for her, the cards always showed me her death. That's why it is said we cannot change our fate." She tries to comfort Paige, saying that even if she had been with their friend, nothing could have been done to save her. Paige's friend offers to drop Haley's friend off at her house. But while returning, the demon from his tarot card, the Hermit, starts following him. At that point, Paige's friend decides to return by train. But Hermit's light forced him to take the wrong path. As soon as his reading was completed, a train suddenly appeared and crushed him, leading to his death. This is how his reading turned out to be true, that he needed to walk the path of love with a clear mind. He had gone to drop off his friend, whom he liked. But the light from the Hermit showed him the wrong way, which ultimately caused his death. In short, according to the reading, his death was destined. The next day, when the news of his death reached his friends, they were extremely worried. Haley started to suspect that everything was happening according to the reading. How else could two friends die in 2 days? This couldn't just be a coincidence. The rest of them agreed with her. They began to wonder what they should do next. It was clear they needed help, so they turned to the internet. They found out about a woman who was an expert in these matters because she was an oracle. The oracle had written about tarot cards and how many people had died because of them. They called the oracle, but she didn't answer the phone, so they decided to visit her house, which was in a remote area. When they reached her house and knocked on the door, the oracle initially refused to open it. But when they told her that their friends had died because of the tarot cards and that they believed they were next, the oracle came out. She let them inside and revealed to them that the tarot cards they had read were cursed. Because of them, many people have died in the past, first in Mexico, then in Woodstock, and the third time in London. In the London case, only one person survived, and that person is none other than me. I survived because I had read all the cards, except my own. But by the time I realized that all this was happening because of the tarot cards, they had already disappeared from my possession. Since then, I've been searching for those cards so I can destroy them and prevent them from claiming more lives. Now the question arises, where did these cursed cards come from? Obviously, Oracle also investigated this, and then she revealed that these cards became cursed because of a king. In the 18th century, a queen was pregnant with the king's child, and the king was overjoyed. He consulted his astrologer, one who foretold fate, and had her perform a reading. The reading revealed that both the queen and the child would die during childbirth. When the king heard this, he was furious. He demanded the astrologer change the reading, declaring that such a fate was unacceptable. The astrologer tried to alter the reading multiple times, but every time, the outcome remained the same: death. However, this reading also indicated that death could lead to a new beginning. The king, blinded by his grief and rage, only focused on the death. Enraged, he banished the astrologer and her daughter from the kingdom. When the time came, the prophecy came true. The queen died during childbirth, and their child did not survive. Witnessing this, the king was overcome with sorrow and descended into madness. In his rage, he accused the astrologer of witchcraft. That is, she practiced magic. He punished her severely, even killing her daughter using his soldiers, which left the astrologer deeply saddened. But she also became very angry. In retaliation, the astrologer created those dangerous cards and used them to read the fortunes of the king and his soldiers. She then performed a dangerous ritual, sacrificing her life so that her soul would forever be tied to the cards. This act cursed the cards as her soul was bound to them. Subsequently, one by one, the king and his soldiers began dying, just as their readings had foretold. In some way, the astrologer's revenge was fulfilled. However, because her soul was tied to the cards, Every time someone used them, she also suffered. And since the cards were cursed, anyone who used them would die as well. The only way to survive was to destroy the cards forever. After hearing this, Haley and her friend went to the mansion where the cards were kept, but on the way their car broke down on a bridge. At this moment, Haley felt that something terrible was about to happen. Her friend's reading was about to come true. The Hangman card, which foretold a problem related to technology. The reading had warned her not to panic and run, especially at the bridge, but she ignored the warning and tried to escape. According to the reading, the hangman appeared and hanged her, giving her a horrifying death. It happened right in front of everyone, leaving no doubt about the cursed nature of the cards. This is happening because of the tarot cards, but the people involved are very scared. Seeing this, Paxton says that he doesn't want to return to the place where it all began. He wants to save his life, so he decides to go to the house alone. Although he was warned not to act hastily, he proceeds anyway. As per his readings, the fool demon starts following him. Seeing this, he becomes very frightened and rushes into the elevator. However, he gets stuck there. Just as his readings foretold, you will feel trapped. At that moment, the fool appears before him, signifying his death. Meanwhile, Haley and her friends arrive at the mansion and throw the tarot cards into the fire. But to their shock, none of the cards burn. Confused and desperate, they contacted Oracle. Oracle informs them that to destroy the cards, they must perform a ritual to separate the astrologer's soul from them. Oracle begins the ritual and summons the astrologer's soul. However, she underestimates how powerful the soul can be. The soul emerges and reads Oracle's fortune, revealing the Six of Swords card as her final fate. This means death for Oracle, as the soul stabs her with 6 swords, killing her. Witnessing this, Haley and her friends flee in terror. However, Paige becomes separated from the group, and her own readings begin to come true. According to her fortune, someone would tear her into 2 parts. The magician of her tarot card traps her in a box and uses an axe to cut her into 2, resulting in her death. After this, Death and the Devil were after them as well. These were the readings of the tarot cards for the 2 friends. One was Haley's, and the other belonged to her friend. Then Haley got an idea. If she read the astrologer's cards, then after their death, everything might return to normal. Because in this way, the cards and the soul would be separated. If the soul ceased to exist, the cards would vanish too. And if the cards were destroyed, the curse would break forever. Haley decided she had to end this game. Otherwise, everything could have been ruined. Up until now, Haley had been saying that fate cannot be changed. But now she was saying it with full confidence. So now fate was bound to change. However, in her words, the devil dragged her friend away, and death came after Haley. Love will be the reason for your death. That was her reading. Haley relied on love and tried to change her fate. But love, her friend, was taken by the devil. And because of this, only death remained. Death came and caught Haley. But then love, her friend, came back. Her friend's reading was, you will have to face the demon, otherwise you will lose this closeness. Now he was confronting the demon while Haley began reading the astrologer's soul. And then, in her final card, death appeared, just like in Haley's own reading. If death took the soul first, Haley would be saved. Haley's friend didn't know whether he would survive, as the devil was still pulling him. Meanwhile, Haley continued to read the astrologer's soul, to forget the past and move forward, and not kill innocent people. But meanwhile, death decided that it would take both of them, meaning Haley and the astrologer's soul. However, Haley's friend came again and saved her, while death took the soul. The soul ended in front of both of them. As soon as the soul ended, the cards ended, and the curse was lifted forever. Now, just like death means an end and a new beginning, death became the soul, and a new beginning became Haley. As they were going back, a car came from the front, and inside was Paxton. His reading indicated that he would return for his friends. Now we know how he survived in the elevator from the fool. His friend, who used to live in the room with him, came and opened the door to save him, as it was written in his reading that someone close to him would save him. So the fool demon left. According to their readings, they survived, but in the end, they also destroyed those cursed cards forever, meaning no one would die in this way again. And with that, the film ends here. Subscribe to this channel for more horror stories like this.